Hello everyone, this is Brook Seekins. I'm a missionary with Grace Ministries International in Malawi. And because of the coronavirus, we are not able to do many of our mission conferences or pass by a lot of churches now and speak. So I'm making a short video about my ministries and hoping that it will help you understand what's going on to make you better prayer warriors. Working in Tanzania for 15 years, just in the past 2 years, was I able to switch over to work in Malawi. The logo of my ministry is Yield, and I would just ask that when you see a Yield sign, you would remember to pray for me. Thank you very much. Yield stands for Youth Instructed in Evangelism, Leadership, and Development. And in Tanzania and Malawi, that has been my vision and goal of ministry. Zikomo kwambili. In Chichewa, that means thank you very much. And I just want to say thank you to all of you who have been faithful prayer warriors and supporters of this ministry. Thank you even for your prayers now in such a unique time of transition. And I know that all missionaries really want a lot of prayer warriors backing them so that they can better do their jobs on the field. I work with a wonderful team in Malawi with Grace Ministries International. You've probably met some of them, the Vintons, the Asongs, the Mangos, the Lloyds, and the Nyakambiris. What's unique about our team is that we represent 5 different countries, and that has obviously its challenges, but also its great blessings. You can see on the map where Lilongwe, Malawi is, which is where I live. Malawi is a tiny country, but all of our team members represent all of these other countries, including Cameroon, Congo, Tanzania, Zambia, and Zimbabwe. And soon, one of our team members will be going to help the brand new field of GMI in Mozambique. We work all together as a team with the Grace Church in Malawi. See, in Africa, many of the governments require any church to be registered as a denomination in order to own land or to build buildings. And so years ago, the first missionaries established the Grace Church in Malawi as a local denomination. We have more than 25 churches at this point. Most of them are in the central and southern regions, which would be the pink and the yellow areas on your map. Together as a team, we're striving to help encourage all of these local churches and to make them healthy churches. And one of the biggest focuses that we have is to train national leaders. As a team, we often work with Bible school programs, seminars, and conferences just in order to encourage and to grow up our leaders so that we have pastors who will be there for the long run. Right now, we're a little behind, I feel, and it's a big push for us. We have about 4 or 5 pastors who actually have more than 2 years of Bible school training. The rest of them are still at the beginning of their training. And so it's exciting to see, especially the guys on the team, really push for the Bible school training. But even myself, I've helped with some of the curriculum and like worship classes and things like that. Now, I really want to discuss with you the doors of opportunity that have been given to me in my ministry. And I know that phrase is kind of funny to you because we would usually say windows of opportunities, but I am getting it from the Bible. The Apostle Paul says, a great and effective door has been opened unto me. And in other passages, he asks for prayer that doors might be opened. So I too want to think about how God opens doors for each of us. One of the most unique doors that has been opened for me these years is through my language studies. Even though I'm fluent in Swahili, I do not know Chichewa. And so since the beginning, I've been tutoring in Chichewa in hopes to be able to speak to everyone as well as to teach and to write curriculum. As I started taking lessons, Gladys was one of my teachers, and she is a high school teacher. So after school, 3 days a week, she comes over to my house for a couple hours and gives me private lessons in Chichewa. When she first came, I told her I need to know Bible Chichewa, because my goal as a missionary is to be able to teach the Bible in Chichewa. Well, that put a unique twist to how we learn the Bible and to how she teaches Chichewa. And so each day we're actually using part of our time in the Bible as I read through passages in Chichewa and then translate them to English. Well, as a teacher of the Bible, I can't help myself but also explain some of the things as we come across them. And through just our classes, as we were reading a passage one day about how Christ's work was enough for us, Gladys, whose background is a very strong Catholic, came to the realization that she only needed Christ's work for her salvation instead of all of the deeds that she can do. And she had tears in her eyes as she suddenly realized that all that Christ did on the cross was enough for her salvation. And so it's such a blessing that she came to know the Lord in the fall of 2018. And now, as we continue to study, it becomes like a Bible study to help her grow more in her faith. So that was an amazing door that God opened for her. Another area, a door of opportunity, has to do with music and worship. I teach piano lessons with students from some of our local churches. We have 4 churches in the city of Lilongwe where I live. And so on Fridays and Saturdays, I go and meet with different students, some of them young adults, some of them youth, and teach them basic piano lessons. Of course, some of them thought that this would be an easy class and signed up, and after a couple weeks, realizing it might take months, dropped out, but that's okay. I have several faithful students, and it's been an encouragement to teach them. I'm also teaching a few guitar lessons. And in my absence, I have some of these students teaching other students and newer students, because there's a couple of them that are quite advanced for just a year and a half of study. And so I gave them a lot of homework as well as the opportunity to help those that are not quite as far along as they are. This has given me the opportunity to help with praise teams and worship training. With the 4 churches in the city, we often gather together for different events like Easter or Christmas. We gather together for graduation from the Bible school or a wedding. And so we've created a joint praise team that can help sing and lead the worship during these big events. And that's been a very unique challenge, because I found out that they don't have a lot of Christian songs in their language. They have some hymn books that they've taken from other churches, and they will sing the ones they know, but it's hard for them to learn new ones as they don't really read music. And they also have a lot of choruses that they sing. Of course, in Africa, they love to sing and dance, but often when it comes to maybe a special event, they don't have songs that fit the event. And so with Christmas or Easter, we found ourselves writing new songs for the occasion. Christmas, we only had maybe 2 songs, and we had a 3-day event. And so we encouraged them to take different choruses that they already knew and to change words in them to fit the theme of the day. And so I'm about ready to show you a video of how that works. In this video, you're going to see first a couple pastors who help to rewrite some songs and change some words to fit a theme for a wedding. They're going to sing about marriage. So in the very first clip, you're going to see them teaching the piano players the songs so that they could write out the chords and know how to play them. And then in the next quick clip, you're going to see them also teaching the rest of the praise team so that the praise team could be singing and leading during the wedding. And the final clip, you'll see the praise team at work at an event. So I hope you enjoy. And by the way, pastors, this is an example of how pastors in Africa really get into it and dance. Wasn't that wonderful to see them singing and dancing? One of the verses that I use just in this teaching that I do about worship is found in Colossians 3:16. It says, "Let the word of Christ dwell in you richly in all wisdom, teaching and admonishing one another in psalms and hymns and spiritual songs, singing with grace in your hearts to the Lord." And I really try and emphasize to these guys and other guys that I teach that we need to realize how important our music is, and that through music we are actually teaching others. We want the music to have good theology. We want the music to teach important things and to help us learn more about the Bible. Because of that, I've actually written a short curriculum, and we've started to teach it in several of the local churches about what worship means, and teaching not only choir members but also worship teams, pastors, and elders, just so that they can improve their worship services, making sure that God is glorified in the service and not that we're praising the better singers or the dancers, but that God gets the honor through the worship, and to make sure that we are singing songs that match our theology. Another door of opportunity is through youth ministry. Right now in the capital city, I teach a weekly youth Bible study in one of our smaller churches. And this group of young people, mostly college age, actually have been growing and maturing a lot. And in my absence, several of them are still meeting. I left them some books to teach as they work through the Bible. Now, as I've been teaching this, I've realized that it's easy for me to teach, but for them to teach, we need more curriculum. And so I actually started writing some curriculum using some of the guidelines I already had in Tanzania, but retranslating them into English and then getting them into Chichewa. And our goal is to have several years of just Bible study that will walk these youth and other people through the entire Bible, starting at Genesis, getting all the way into the end of Acts, and then later going into some of the other epistles. But this will take several years. And so we have the first year done, and that's been a blessing to be able to give out to people so that they have just a simple guideline on what to teach. It's not a full lesson. It's just a very short lesson, but it tells them teach this passage and gives them guidelines on how to prepare and study in the Bible for that. Another area of youth ministry has been with the youth department of the National Church. With 25 churches, Pastor Evans has been appointed to oversee youth ministries. And so he and I took some of the things that I had done in Tanzania already, and we've tweaked them and translated them into Chichewa. And we're able to train these leaders who are leaders over different regions in the country. Those youth regional leaders work together with Pastor Evans to travel to different areas in their regions and to train people to teach youth in the local church. My goal is that every local church would have a youth Bible study each week. And that's hard sometimes when the pastor is the only one that can read or has any Bible training. And so we're training these people, most of them young, some old, how to teach the youth in their church each week. And our goal is that these youths will grow in their faith, because I know that when you study the Bible, it changes you and it helps you in your life. And through that, we'll have some great future leaders. I do want to leave you with a challenge. What doors of opportunity to serve the Lord are open for you in your life? I know with the coronavirus, things are a little unique, but I know that each one of us has a door of opportunity that God has prepared for us, even more than one door. We have ways that we can serve the Lord in our family, among our friends, in our community, and in our local church. I know that if you were to talk to your pastor or the elders in your church, they could give you many opportunities and needs that they have for someone to do something in their church. So even though I live in Africa and you've seen some of the cool doors that God has opened for me in Malawi, I also want you to understand that there are many more doors that are yet to be opened. And if you really are considering missions, don't be afraid to ask us or talk to Grace Ministries International, talk to your pastor about how you can take a short-term mission trip or even long-term mission trips, because those are different ways that God allows us to serve Him. When you see a yield sign, I've asked you to pray, and here is a way that you can pray for my ministry using these Bible verses. I just want to kind of create a way for you to pray for me. Please continue steadfastly in prayer. Watching in Thanksgiving, meaning every time you get those newsletters or see a Facebook update, you know how to be thankful and pray. At the same time, pray for us that God could open for us a door for the word to declare the mystery of Christ. We want God to open more doors of opportunity in Malawi, that I may make it clear which is how I ought to speak. And for me, that's a personal request that you might pray that I could get some more Chichewa, because it's difficult to teach when you're always going through a translator. So pray for my Chichewa learning. Walking in wisdom toward outsiders, praying for those that I meet who are unsaved. In a capital city, I run across people from so many different countries that all need to know Christ. Making the best use of my time. Missionaries have a lot of opportunities, but choosing the right opportunities that would glorify God and have the most impact. It means wisdom, and letting our speech be with grace, seasoned with salt, so that we may know how to answer every person. Just pray again that our language would be clear, and we would have to say the hard things when we need to, and be able to answer anyone. Well, I just want to thank you for taking time to watch this video, and I ask that, remember, you would pray when you see a yield sign. And if you have any more questions, just let me know. Thank you very much.